Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Premier Sim Gaming Leagues for round one of season 28 here in the top tier on PlayStation. The F1 tier, 20 of the best drivers on the console, taking a brand new challenge tonight that they've not done this season and probably not a track that they're used to going round. The Bahrain short circuit for round one out of 10 here. We've got all change on track and we've got all change in the commentary box. My name is Luke Etheridge and joining me in the comms box for the season, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Daniel Field. Dan, how are you doing?
Well, to say I'm excited is saying the very least. Cannot wait for this race to get underway. A new challenge for the drivers, as you said, Bahrain short. We're doing a 100% race here because it'd just be way too short if we did a normal 50%, which means it's going to be the longest race probably ever in PSGL history. We're just shy of about an hour of 57 laps, so it's going to be really interesting to see if the drivers handle the track.
Yes, it is indeed. Not the same short track as everyone saw, obviously, at the CK Grand Prix. It is the paddock circuit that they use at 3.705 kilometres. Like Dan said, 57 laps, but when you're considering qualifying laps definitely will be under a minute. F2 pole position at 57.4. It should be some pretty rapid laps indeed. And as we said, we've got some new drivers coming in, some returning drivers, some drivers with some slightly different names. So let's go through all the driver lineup, shall we, for this season. First of all, we've got Alfa Romeo. They've got two VSR drivers, Duncan and Juice, taking us through in the Alfa Romeo team. For the Alpha Tauri team, Recon and Lamp F1, or Will LG, as he's now changed his name to. Recon not having the best season in F1 last year. See how Lamp can do moving up from F2. Ferrari have MWS Mickey and IGK Simo in the Haas team. Another all VSR lineup in Vasta Racer and Jordan. McLaren, now, got to say, judging by last season, Dan, McLaren going to be the pre-season favourites with Gamer and, of course, our reigning champion here, Wilson Hughes.
Of course, he's moved away from the CRG Sparks name like you normally know him as, but yeah, he's now gone into Wilson Hughes, and well, he's prepared as ever. I've been speaking with him, and he does seem quite confident for this season to get underway. He actually said that the goal is to win, but it's going to be very tough for him. He says that the track is all right, but it'll be very close due to it being so small.
Yeah, we'll go through the rest of the lineups quickly then as well. Mercedes have CRG Matthias and F1 esports driver Casper 24 F1. Probably not the ideal season for Casper last time around, so we'll see what he can do here. Racing Point, an all-Comrade Gaming lineup in Blizzard, and reigning F2 champion, moving from the Vortex Racing team, it is CRG Benjamin. In the Red Bull, Ash Best and VSR Lee, two stalwarts of PSGL. Renault, an all-Shazoo lineup in Christmas and Valters. Williams with an all-World Sim Online lineup, Samuel Bean and Suso. So a pretty deliberate line, a deliberate choice by quite a lot of his teams to, you know, stick with drivers that they already know, which should put them in good stead for the entire season.
Yeah, that is going to be really key for them, that they can have that relationship and that they can work well together. You'll notice a lot of drivers are part of the same organisation, lining up together, and just close friends in general. Of course, the Red Bull team is Lee and Ash, but I believe Midnight is actually coming in for him today, Midnight being one of the reserves. Speaking of one of the Red Bull drivers, Ash, though, it is his 10th season in F1, and he says the fact that I've been here for 10 seasons is surely illegal. I must have committed some unknowingly fraud. So yeah, he's a bit surprised, but you know, he's here for a reason, and he's going to be kicking it off the side.
Yeah, indeed. We've also got a driver making his 100th appearance tonight in PSGL, and that is Blizzard. Been here since season 20, so the start of F1 2019. So definitely one of the most experienced drivers, and it will be interesting to see how he gets on this evening. But let's get the on-track action underway then. The qualifying session has started, and you can see from by the track map, it is a very short track. Qualifying probably going to be all important as well. You do still have the two DRS zones, one on the run down towards turn 1 one on the run down towards what is now turn 6 is normally turn 11, but you don't get that run into turn 4, which Max Verstappen, after yesterday, might be slightly glad to see the back of that corner. If he was here with us tonight, you may be watching. Who knows what Max Verstappen's doing on his Mondays off. But let's go on board then with VSR Duncan for a lap then of this Bahrain short circuit. Heavy braking just before the 100 metre board into turn 1 there. Short shifting up through the gears. You might want to stick over to the left slightly sooner than usual as you sling the car into this turn 4, heading over the curb as much as you dare as you come through turn 5. DRS open once again for Duncan, drifting over towards the right hand side of the track. Saw Lando Norris doing this yesterday in the race as we now come through turn 6, heading up the hill through into turn 7. Drivers having to be very careful of that curb on the right hand side. Very easy to spin the car there, very easy to invalidate your lap, as we have just seen Duncan do. So he is going to back off on this lap. We'll see who else we've got on a hot lap at the moment. Ash Best just coming out of turn 8 now, heading down the hill towards the double apex right-hander of 9 and 10. You can afford to take a bit of a later apex through the first part, getting on the throttle fairly early, and we'll see what this is from a first run from Ash Best, and it is a 59.603, and that is a much more representative time from Vasta Racer to what we were expecting. 57.609. Almost certainly it's going to be the smallest qualifying gaps we've seen all season tonight.
Absolutely, already the gaps are insanely small. The top 4 currently separated by just under 1/10 of a second. New boy in F1, actually he is returning to F1 this season, but Misha's managed to put it in P3. Will G has gone into 5th position, so the F2 drivers coming up are seemingly doing very, very well so far in this session. Jordan just about to come up to the line. He's now going to cross it here. What's he going to do? It's not going to be a good time by his standards. 57.8 puts him into 10th position. Suso just crossed the line on his return to F1, and he has just gone into 7th position. I believe Duncan about to cross the line here on his 2nd lap in a row. We're going to expect to see back-to-back laps from these drivers, and Duncan putting it in 6th position with 57.7, only 100 off of Will G in front of him.
Yeah, not a bad lap, and like you said, we will see a lot of drivers going for the second runs on the set of tyres. It is going to be a close qualifying, as I say, everyone has set a lap at the moment. Within half a second at the moment with Vasta Racer at top. Matthias was 16th, he's now dropped down into 17th place. Recon and Samu being going quite a bit later than some of the other drivers, and one thing that they've all been warned about is to be careful for traffic, because 20 cars on a circuit, and I think out of all the circuits on the F1 calendar, it is only Monaco that is actually shorter out on the real calendar. Obviously, if you include some of the other short circuits, there's quite a few, but Bahrain short, definitely the shortest one we'll be using this season. It's going to be quite tricky to make sure you've got enough space to set your qualifying lap, and then when you're on an out lap or an in lap, making sure you're not getting in the way of anyone.
Yeah, a lot of these guys are going to struggle, and we could see some security reports coming in from drivers unhappy about where the some racers have decided to put their cars. But that is sort of the first wave of laps completely finished there. One driver who did improve was Matt Tice. He managed to go into 5th position, so only 2 drivers yet to put in a lap. One of them is our reigning F2 champion. He's on his outlap at the moment. Benjamin, he's come on leaps and bounds in terms of his pace in recent weeks, and of course making the move from VRT to CRG, being one of the biggest esports organizations in F1 league racing history. Well, it's going to be a really huge step for him, and I feel the pressure would be on for him, but he's just got to treat it like any other league race. He's coming through the final corner now to begin on this lap. A Williams car getting out of the way. I believe that is Samuel Bean just pulling off to the right hand side, but Benjamin beginning up on this lap, blitzing it down towards turn number 1. A pretty long straight with Ferrari car just coming out of the pit lane in front of him, so hopefully they could do a good job to get out of the way. That's Niche coming out for an out lap, and this is all normal to the regular circuit, and then instead of going straight, it cuts immediately to the right and onto one of the DRS straights. There are only 2 DRS straights this time by, normally there is 3, but Benjamin looking pretty strong on this lap so far. 21.5 through the first sector split, and he's put that Ferrari still in front of him. Hopefully he will get out of the way if Benjamin does end up catching up with him. There he is, just pulling off to the right hand side. Benjamin, big lockup coming in through here, probably dissettled the car quite a bit. You see running it right on the curb, and I think that cost him quite a bit of time. He's just about to come up towards the final corner, the last driver to put in a lap here. We'll see him now out the final corner really wayward on the traction, and he's running through 5th there, so really high gears for Benjamin. And yeah, that's slowest of all, so he's not going to be too happy about that one. I'd say he's going to go for this push lap yet again.
Yeah, I think he did back off there in the final sector. It could be fairly crucial to get a good position, I think, here on the grid. We mentioned how the normal Bahrain circuit, obviously, they carry straight on up there towards turn 4, and the main overtaking opportunities are normally turn 1 and turn 4. This second DRS straight heading into what is now on the shorter circuit, turn 6, we don't really see too many overtakes. So going to want to get a good start to this race. You're going to want to get a good place on the grid, as Will puts himself up into second position. Fantastic lap from him. You need to make sure that you're near the front of the grid. T1 could well be by far the best chance for any of these drivers to get any overtaking done in the race. And we're probably going to see some DRS trains that could be fairly hard to get yourself out of, as Vasta Racer becomes the first driver to go into the 57.5s. We're still off the F2 pole at the moment, only by a few hundredths of a second. And judging by how close the gaps are in this session, having 94 thousandths ahead of the next driver, who's a massive Grand Canyon-sized gap at the top of the times at the moment.
Yeah, because this track is so small, there's not many places that you can really make up time. And oh, there's a car off. That is as an Alfa Romeo, I believe that's Duncan actually lost the car in the corner you mentioned, which is going to be problematic for some of the drivers. Luckily, he is off circuit, and he's not going to be getting in anyone's way. But yeah, it seems like that inside curve must have just caught him out there, and it sent him into a spin. I do believe he was on a push lap. I don't know what his sectors were looking like, but yeah, that is going to be a swift end to his run. As I think we've just seen improvement coming out from our champion, and there's Joost. Joost being Wilson, one of his main championship rivals, going right down to the penultimate round in Abu Dhabi. Well, he just put it ahead of him about 4 thousandths of a second there.
Yeah, and Misha's just got up to second place as well. So Joost, of course, beaten last time around last season by Wilson. He's got him by 17 thousandths of a second at the moment. Things really are starting to tighten up, as Jordan managed to take a win last season, 1 win each actually for both of the Haas drivers in season 27, and Haas looking pretty good at the moment in first and third position. We've still got half of the qualifying session to go though. Vasta Racer, Mish, Jordan, Joost and Wilson are top 5 at the moment. Benjamin, the only driver not to do a sub 58 second lap at this moment in time, but I'm sure that will change as we have got another yellow flag. I think that is just for a few cars backing off, of course. The action is going to be frantic. Make sure, of course, to check out the race. 57 laps around this circuit, and it is a fairly standard strategy around here. Soft medium compared to the full Bahrain circuit, where managing a one-stop on the soft medium, I think even driving around at our pace, Dan, we're probably not going to be able to stretch them tyres it off. Around here, it's fairly straightforward to get that strategy to work.
Yeah, it's a pretty early stop on the softs. They are not very strong around here. They die quickly, and when they do, they will feel absolutely dreadful. Making the undercut very, very powerful here. They'll probably be pitting around about lap 21 to 24 if they're starting inside the top 10, and everyone outside the top 10 is going to be on alternate strategy. That's very, very crucial around here. So the strategy is going to play a pretty major part in how the drivers are really representative of their times. As Game is just coming through the final sector right now. He's about just a little under 2/10 off on his best lap, so there could be a sharp improvement right to the top of the field. We'll see him coming across the line. There it is, 7th position for the McLaren driver. They're on 5th and 7th at the moment. Only realistically being beaten out by the Haas cars, who are 1 and 3 at the moment.
Yeah, Haas 1 and 3, McLaren 5 and 7, so the Constructors Champions from last year not doing too bad. If you do want to see how your favourite driver is doing, you can use the TAS system, which is provided for you in the YouTube chat. And there's already a couple of drivers that have managed to fall foul of, well, there's one driver who's managed to fall foul of not setting his TAS data, and that is Christopher. So he's going to be getting a 10-second time penalty added to his time at the end of this race. So that is one driver who is definitely not hoping that we get a late safety car, because that could really ruin his chances. Let's see what Benjamin's doing here though. 21.4 coming up through the first sector, so only a slight improvement from his fastest, but it was really halfway through the lap where he did back off, and again a slight improvement. So 2 temps up at the moment, but that's not really representative with this final sector where he backed off last time. So we'll see what the reigning F2 champion can do on his first real lap in this session. Gets himself up into 9th place. Very useful indeed. ahead of his teammate as well, Blizzard, who's down in 17th at the moment, as we're seeing all sorts of times shove up the board. That's Samuel Bean, who's just got himself into 9th position. Another one of the drivers who's been promoted from F2. There's a few quick drivers coming up from F2, both of the Ferrari drivers. In fact, Simo and Mish coming up from F2, and Mish, he finished second in F2. He's second on the grid at the moment. He'll be fairly happy with how this is going.
Yeah, they're all performing very, very strong in comparison to the experienced F1 drivers. As actually one of them, Will G, has just been put up into second position. Wasn't too confident coming to this one. He said he was going to be happy with a top 15 position, but he's second on the grid. He's on the front row. Granted, we do have just under 6 minutes left in this session, so we will be expecting a couple more drivers to most likely improve on their run. Williams just starting up on a lap. I think Simon Bean is just backing off. He's coming to the pit lane. So yeah, seems like a lot of drivers finishing up on their second run at the moment, except for Wilson Hughes, our reigning PSGL F1 champion. He's come to the final corner now, and Williams has improved on this lap so far, so it could be a top time from Wilson. There it is, and that is a 57.5, just about 15 thousandths of a second ahead of Master Race. So these two could be duking it out all seasons at this point.
Yeah, they could be indeed. Fastest man in Sector 1 and in Sector 3 was Wilson here. Mish was only, in fact, he's actually up on the time that Wilson did in the first two sectors, so this could put the Ferrari on to provisional pole position with just 5 minutes left in the session. Mish heads towards the line, losing a bit of time in that final sector, so he's 13 thousandths down. At the moment, we've got 7 drivers on a 57.5, 7 drivers on a 57.6. That is, we knew it was going to be close. I don't think we were quite expecting this close at this moment in time, as Suso, another driver now to join the 57.6 crew, goes up into 13th position. Probably would have been expecting maybe Blizzard to be a bit further up at the moment. Is his 100th race? As we said, he'll be putting up a good performance, he's hoped. Double champion in PSGL. Let's see what he can do as he comes to cross the line. What time is it going to be? Doesn't improve position-wise, does improve time-wise ever so slightly, so stays in 16th at the moment, but still enough time to head into the pits and get another run. Let's see who else is on a hot lap at the moment. Jordan, he's heading back towards the pits, and I think Mish will be doing the same as well. So next driver on a hot lap is, by the look of it, Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas just about to come into third sector. Unfortunately, he is just a little bit down through here. He can't find an improvement through this final one here, really riding the curbs on the mid-apex. Oh, he's not very squirmy on the exit, and there he is. He's backing off, so he's coming to the pit lane there. Just improving through the first sector, but whilst everyone is not seemingly on a lap at the moment, I do want to run through Blizzard's stats quite quickly, because they are quite impressive. Of course, as you said, 2 championships to his name. He's got 13 wins in PSGL, 39 podiums, 16 pole positions. But what I think is one of the best stats out of all of them is that Blizzard has never missed a race before. He's always turned up and got that 100% attendance rate. So it's really good that PSGL has been able to find a very consistent and reliable driver like Matthews. So he's going to be a PSGL legend forever.
Yeah, that is certainly some commitment. Didn't manage to get a victory last season, did get on the podium 4 times. You probably won't be too surprised to know, if you know what Blizzard's like, that one of his best results was a second place at Paul Ricard. He absolutely loves the French circuit. 3 minutes to go in this session then. Samuel Bean currently on the bubble for that top 10. He knows that and he's trying to improve at the moment. Goes fastest of anyone in the middle sector. So flying around the circuit is the Williams driver. This lap could be good enough to put him on provisional pole position at this moment in time as he starts to head towards the finish line. What can the Williams driver do? And he does. First man into the 57.4s from Samuel Bean. 57.490. Fantastic lap from him. Recon, he has just started a lap at this moment in time. So them 2 drivers going a bit earlier than everyone else, and that might have been a good tactic by Samuel Bean. Get out on track while it's a bit quieter.
Yeah, you'll notice just at the moment that at the second DRS straight, beginning of the second sector, it is like Tesco car park on a Saturday morning. There are so many cars. Recon's got to navigate through. Luckily, they're all getting out of the way pretty nicely for him. Just about 600 up on his lap so far, very wide through that long left-hander there. He's got a Haas just in front of him. This might put him off mid-apex, and might have given a slight hit of dirty air. And I wouldn't say that he's He's going to be too pleased about that. He's lost about 300 through that sector alone. So we'll see him through the final corner, the Dutchman. If he can find that improvement, if he still maintain to that small improvement that he's got so far, he's going to cross the line. He does improve through the final sector, and it's 14th position for the Dutchman.
Yeah, and another Dutchman, Matthias, improving on his lap at the moment in the Mercedes. Let's see what he can do. He was improving the personal best in Sector 1. We'll see what he can do through Sector 2. Another personal best at this moment in time. So this time, looks as though he needs to find a couple more hundredths in the final sector if he wants to become the fastest of them all. Let's see how he does. Nice and clean on the curb at this moment in time from the Mercedes driver. In the end, actually lost a bit of time in that final sector, so can only go up to 9th place. Will have enough time, though, to get another lap in. The times are going to start coming through thick and fast. IGK Simo, another driver to come up from Division 2 here. He comes across the line, loses time into 13th place. Christmas, he's heading around the final couple of corners now. He's got one of the cars ahead of him. That is an Alpha Tauri of Recon, who looks like he is improving again. So let's see what Recon can do as he heads across the line. Is this going to be good enough to get him into the top 10? No, it is not. It is 13th for him, and Christmas unable to improve as well. Suso just starting his flying up. I don't think I can keep up with all the cars that are coming across the line. There's so little space on this circuit at this moment in time. Haas drivers are now 4th and 5th. That's pretty good from them. One of the Red Bulls, I think, moving around. That is Midnight goes up into 7th place. Midnight, he's got to take the most of this opportunities. Who knows how many chances he's going to get as a reserve, and he's not doing a bad job so far.
Absolutely, of course, they're not going to be taking any points for the constructors. There goes Matthias right to the top. The clock has struck 0, so if you're not on a lap, then you're not going to be able to set on one driver who's been caught out by that is Will G. He was backing up and letting everyone go through, and unfortunately that has allowed them, that has not allowed for him to actually put in a time as a Renault car coming through the final section. Bouncers coming up to the line. He's going to go into 12th position. His teammate Christmas is about second lap as well, and very squirmish out the final corner. That's going to completely kill any time that he had there.
Yeah, it is indeed. Yeah, was just in 10th place, probably the worst place to normally start at a Bahrain Grand Prix. He makes a very late decision to come diving into the pits, as does Suso. So a lot of drivers not improving. Ash doing likewise. One of the racing points, I should say. We will have to get used to a new name, of course, on the next game, and that is Blizzard heading towards the finish line. Is he going to be improving at all? No, he is not. So a lot of drivers struggling at the moment. Reigning champion Wilson Hughes, another one to dive it into the pits. Jordan as well. They're all losing time at the moment. Benjamin's, he's staying out on track to head towards the finish line. That was not a fast lap from him. I think that might be pretty much everyone now done in this qualifying session. Matthias is just slowing down to come back towards the pits. And it looks like he's coming back towards the pits with a pole position. 57.468 for him. Vasta Racer will be in the second place. Reigning champion Wilson Hughes in 4th. Blizzard and Christmas on the back row of the grid. 3 and a bit tenths separating the entire field, though. It's going to be an extremely close race, and that DRS train effect, after they've done about 2 minutes of this track, everyone's still going to be in the DRS zone. Strategy could be absolutely key if you want to get a good finish in this race.
You might see some drivers towards the back of the top 10 maybe try for the undercut on the drivers right in front of them. I find something more impressive than the 310 field spread. It's the top 10 separated by just about less than a tenth of a second. Joost has gone into 10th position, probably the worst place to start, as you said. He's only 900ths off of pole time, so that is incredible to see how close this field spread is. The results are on your screen now. It's going to be Matthias from Vasta Racer on the front row, and well, these two are going to be very, very close together.
Yeah, they are indeed. Samuel Bean in 3rd place. Wilson Hughes is 4th. Midnight doing a fantastic job. Less than half a tenth of pole position in 5th, as did Mish on his debut in 6th. Duncan and Jordan in all VSR 4th row of the grid. Will LG and VSR used rounding out the top 10. Benjamin, who that alternate strategy pole position, which seems to have pleased Liam in the chat. And then it is Wouters, Suso, Gamer, Recon, Simo, Ashbest, Casper, Blizzard, and Christmas, the grid for this race. It is going to be an absolutely fantastic race. One thing we can guarantee with Bahrain, it might be in the name of the track. We're not going to see any rain. Should be a nice, straightforward drive race for everyone. I know at Abu Dhabi, I've seen it happen occasionally. I don't think I've ever seen dynamic weather and rain happen at Bahrain.
Yeah, the chances are pretty much astronomically low, and that is pretty much confirmation for you. We're not going to have any rain tonight, although for some reason, I could just see in the Mercedes garage there's actually wet tires lined up for Casper. I don't think we'll be seeing them at all in this race. It's going to be 57 laps of dry running, and given the fact that it is an hour long, going to expect drivers to maybe take it a little bit more cautiously than they would if it was one of the shorter races like Italy, which is a very quick Grand Prix. I think it might be the quickest in terms of how short it is with the laps. But yeah, this is going to be the longest race on the calendar, so these drivers have got to be patient if they want to have a good race.
Yeah, next week could be another one that challenges that longest race on the calendar. Singapore, quite a few times you see races pushing towards an hour, especially with any possible safety cars, especially at Singapore, with any possible weather. It is not uncommon there for the race to start dry, go wet, and then finish dry, or the complete opposite. So let's see what tyres everyone is going to be starting this race on. Perhaps not too much of a surprise there. We knew what everyone in the top 10 was on the softs. Everyone outside the top 10 has either gone for the mediums, or if you're Simo, you've gone for the hard tyres. That is a very interesting strategy indeed. He's obviously, I imagine, hoping for some sort of late safety car, or he's not aware that the tyre wear isn't as bad around the short circuit as it is the full track.
It is a very interesting gamble, I'd say, from Simo to go on the hard tyres. He's the only driver on this strategy, so when he pits, he's going to have a clear pit lane to his advantage, and he'll be in clear air for a lot of the Grand Prix. He's got to get a lot of heat into these tyres on the formation, and of course, it's a lot harder to generate grip on the white wall hard tyres. So starting from 16th, you'd expect him to slip down the order behind Ashbest, Casper, Blizzard, and Christmas. But maybe if he's able to hold on to that train, he'll be in a pretty good position come the end of the race. They're coming through the third sector now on the formation lap, and well, I don't see any Red Bulls off to the side of the road, so it's a good sign as to this Bahrain Grand Prix getting underway very quickly.
Yeah, and of course, you said it was difficult to get heated to your tyres. Sometimes I know in BTCC, when it's a short track, they end up doing 2 formation laps. No such luxury for these drivers, only 1 quick lap. So if you've not got a lot of temperature in your tyres, pretty much, to be honest, getting temperature in your brakes as well. You have a very heavy braking zone towards turn 1, and you've not really been able to put a lot of temperature into those tyres. But it is Matthias in the perfect place, pole position here with that straightforward run down towards turn 1. Faster alongside him, and our current champion, Wilson Hughes, in 4th place. Can he get his championship off to the best possible start? All the cars now lined up on the grid as we wait there. Christmas just pulling into position, and we get ready for the lights to come on to get season 28 of PSGL underway. And there we go, the lights are now coming on. We've got 5 lights here at Bahrain. F1 Season 28 is underway, and it seems like a pretty good start from Matthias from the front row of the grid. Samuel Beans had a fantastic run as well, and Matthias covers over to the right-hand side of the track there to try and cover off any possible move from Vasta Racer, but it is Matthias, Samuel Bean, Vasta Racer. Mish getting ahead of Wilson Hughes as well, who's had a big moment in the background, and that's allowed Midnight to try and have a go at him as well. That dirtier side of the grid not working out too well. Midnight's had to run off the circuit, and that's allowed Jordan to try and have a go, but everyone is through the first couple of corners up cleanly. Someone's actually managed to wipe out one of the cones there. There's a bit of debris flying up in the background. We'll try and see on the TAS system who's managed to damage their car at the moment, but a fantastic start from Matthias and Samuel Bean as well. Suso was the driver, managing to pick up some damage for 2 CRG drivers, Gamer and Benjamin, battling further in the background. Midnight, after such a fantastic start, he's now going side by side on the runs down towards turn 9 and 10 with Duncan. Duncan's got the inside line. Is he able to hold on to that position there? If we look back from used, yes he is. So Duncan takes 8th position, and Will LG now goes up into 9th place. Perfect start though from Matthias, and we're already on to lap 2. Great to see everyone almost get through cleanly. Recon and Suso just managing to pick up some front wing damage, but all 20 cars still running for this endurance race that they've got ahead of them at Bahrain.
Yep, so it's going to be 56 laps from here. Lap 1 went by in an absolute snap, and as the timing screen just begins to fix itself as they all come through the first sector split, this is the time. Perfect getaway. Samuel Bean coming up from F2 last season. He's also in a very good position to Christmas. Pretty close behind Blizzard, and he's actually very Larry on the curb. So they're all just trying to close in on each other, hang in with the train and not lose DRS before this time by. We're going to have DRS enabled as Kappa and Simo going side by side all the way down in 17th position as expected. Simo has lost a couple of positions. Blizzard going on the inside of Ash Best there. A little bit of contact between the pair of them, but no damage for either car, and Ash Best actually losing up for Christmas because of that move from Blizzard. So DRS now enabled. They won't get a taste of it until the second straight here. It's going to be crucial to maintain this if you want to have a good race in this one.
Yeah, Ash sending it up the inside there of Christmas. I thought for a second he was thinking about having a go at Blizzard as well, but quite wisely, I think, deciding to back off. Recon, he's coming to the pits. He was the biggest loser. Well, one of the biggest losers alongside with Suso, and it's perhaps unsurprising for a man who's done 99 previous PSGL starts at Blizzard, gaining 5 positions at the moment. But everyone apart from Recon and Matthias, obviously, as the leader of the race, is going to be the DRS. So things might just quieten down for the next 15 or so laps before we start seeing a few drivers come into the pitch. Recon going onto the hard tyres. Do you think he's seriously thinking about seeing if he can stretch those towards the end?
He could potentially try for it, you know. It's going to be risky for Recon, and he's not going to be quick in comparison to the other drivers, especially at this point when all their tyres are completely fresh. So he's going to be struggling, but it's really one of the only options that he has as Will LG. Trying to look up the inside of Midnight. Doesn't seem like he's able to make the move stick. A little bit of a gap forming between the mediums and soft runners. Also losing a bit of time, as I think Ash Best might have lost a handful of positions there.
Yeah, I think Ash and Christmas were getting pretty close together down the straight. Christmas, whether he sent for a move and has ended up making contact with Ash, I'm not so sure. Don't think there's any major damage on his car, no minor damage either, so Ash will be able to continue. And I think crucially, with the way this race is panning out, he's been able to stick in the DRS range. Those top 10 drivers on the soft tyres, as you would expect at this moment in the race, are beginning to just eke out a bit of a gap over those on the mediums behind. It is crucial for Valters, Gamer, Benjamin and Blizzard and everyone behind that they can just try and stay in contact with these lead drivers as we do try and go on board now with Will LG. Fastest lap of the race because he's got about 9 cars giving him a lovely slipstream all the way down towards turn 1. Is he going to think about a send down the inside, Yuki Tsunoda style, on the Red Bull of Shazoo Midnight? Is he going to be able to pull off this move round the outside of turn 2? We'll have the inside for 3 and 4. Very, very good driving there. Fantastic manoeuvre, fantastic confidence on the brakes as well from Will to get himself up into that 9th position. As you can see at the front, Samuel Bean, that second DRS straight is just not quite long enough to make an overtake unless the car in front of you makes a mistake on the way through 4 and 5.
Yeah, maybe Samuel Bean might want to look towards turn number 1 if he wants to make a move on that time, but I assume that he wants to possibly stay in the DRS and then make the move right before the pit stop comes. We'll see if he does try for the move coming into the first corner here as there's yellow flags after Recon off. Recon just not having good days, completely lost his entire front wing. Doesn't seem like Samuel Bean might want to go for it. He is actually going to go to the right hand side, the inside line coming into the corner, and he's just got ahead as the safety car comes out on lap number 6.
Well, that is very fortunate for him, very unfortunate for Matthias. Safety car is out to clear Recon's front wing, going off in a very similar place to where Nikita Mazepan did yesterday, but thankfully for Recon, he is able to continue. Suso taking advantage of that to get rid of his damaged front wing and coming to the pits. I'm sure Recon, he'll be coming in as well, and I'm sure if he had an option to not change his tyres, that's exactly what he would want to do, but he is going to be forced to change his tyres. Way too early, really, though, for anyone else who hasn't got damage to even consider coming into the pits. If you're going for a soft-medium strategy, you've got absolutely no chance of getting the mediums long enough. So I'd imagine, hopefully, this will be a pretty short safety car period.
Yeah, it does have to do a minimum of 2 laps before we can get back underway. And Recon just pulling into the pits here. This is quite a common theme for drivers who do sustain damage in the race, and it's going to be lapped by the entire field. So in the race not going according to the plan, he has fitted a set of medium compound tyres. I don't believe anyone has pulled off into the pit lane. There is a car, there is Hunter coming into the pit lane very early here for the Renault outfit, and Ash Best as well. These guys outside the top 10, out the points at the moment, so I guess why not try for a gamble strategy, both on the set of hard compounder tyres, but we do have to get 2 laps on the safety car, and then we will be going very, very soon.
Yeah, interestingly, both going for the hard tyres, so hoping that they can get those tyres towards the end of the race and hoping that they can get back up to everyone and be able to, like, you know, just stay in the DRS range as we saw earlier. But already we saw that it was a bit of a struggle for earlier on. We saw how much Samo started dropping down the field, so we might see something similar here. But safety car is out. Samuel Bean just getting that move done in time. He must have had the stream on in the background, Dan, when you said he needs to maybe think about getting this move done into turn 1, and a good start to the race from him. He's got up 2 places. Matthias second, Vastaracer third, Mish in 4th position, reigning champion. Wilson Hughes is in 5th, Jordan 6th, you 7th, Duncan 8th, Will in 9th, Midnight in 10th position. We'll get the pit stops up very quickly. You can see Recon's made 2 stops, Wouters, Ashbest and Suso. Suso obviously coming in with his damage, but Wouters and Ashbest going for a bit of a different strategy call, and can't really blame them at this point in the race. You might as well try something different when you are in the DRS train. We have seen how difficult it is to overtake.
Yeah, and maybe they can take those tyres to the end. Certainly, they all the drivers who have started the race on the compounder tyres that they are on, they will be able to go just a little bit longer into the race. So possibly they can get to the end. It's going to be very risky. I don't know how much pace they'll have in comparison to the others towards the end, but well, only time will tell. Lap number 8 has only just begun, and we might be getting underway, I'd say, at the end of this lap.
Yeah, the Mercedes safety car. We're going to see a few different safety cars on F1 2021. We're going to see a red Mercedes. We're going to see a green Aston Martin. So that's going to be something, at least we can guarantee that's going to be new on the next game. Red light still flashing on the back. That yellow light still flashing in the middle. But I think when we get round to that very faint white line, in fact, before then, there we go. Safety car is coming in this lap. So it is all up to Samuel now. He's in control on slightly warm, soft tyres. Everyone at the front of the field, we're talking 20-ish% on the front tyres, more like 25 to 30% on the rears. They might not be feeling at their best as they try to get this restart underway. No DRS for another 2 laps, of course, once the race is underway, and everyone but Recon obviously has, well, Recon is in the pack, but a lap down at this moment in time with Wouters, Ash and Suso behind him. And Samuel Bean has gone, and it looks like he's got that restart. Absolutely fantastic. We are racing once more. Vastaracer, don't know if he was half asleep, but there's a big gap appeared in front of Vastaracer and Matthias at the moment. Is anyone going to think about a move? Will, not quite close enough to think about a move on Duncan this time around. Blizzard getting very close with Benjamin there, and in fact losing a bit of time, but everyone getting through that safety car restart pretty cleanly, as you were then, as they head halfway through lap 9 here. The laps are going to be coming thick and fast. Samuel Bean, Matthias, Vastaracer, now your top 3. But watch out for Wouters, Ashbest and Suso on those hard tyres, possibly until the end of the race.
It's crucial that the DRS is not available for this little amount of time. Samuel Bean is going to want to extend that gap to Matthias behind him, as Midnight actually looking like he could try for a move on Will. Will losing touch with the rest of the top 10 just in front of them. Could maybe invite Midnight into a move at some point. Will having a big moment out the corner. This could possibly see Midnight going for the move, keeping up a little bit of his overtake. Will going slightly defensive to the inside line, move back over to the outside, but Midnight still going to send it up the inside. Little bit of a contact between the pair of them. Could he do what Will did to him a couple of laps ago? And he has made that one stick. It's Midnight back into 9th position where he was previously, and Will losing out on the position to Midnight. So good move from the pair of them.
Yes, the senior team showing the junior team who's boss there. Midnight managing to get ahead of Will, both having a few battles last season in F2, but good racing respect between them, and that could be a common move that we see quite often, going down the inside on turn 1. If you could stay alongside through 2 and 3, it will give you the inside for turn 4, and it's quite a narrow corner there, very hard to get 2 drivers through that part of the circuit side by side. DRS will be enabled on this lap. Samuel Bean still about 0.6 of a second ahead of Matthias, and Vastaracer closing in ever so slightly, back within half a tenth. Mish, Wilson, Jordan, Juice, Duncan, Midnight and Will now your top 10. Gamer still hanging on to the back of Will at this moment in time. His mediums will be in slightly better condition at this point in the race. We're talking 20% on the rear tyres compared to 35% on Will's rear left tyre. So that's going to be the one to watch out for. Quite a few traction zones, especially coming through turn 1 and turn 4 for these drivers to contend with on this circuit. Casper very close to the back of Christmas, not close enough to use the DRS effectively though. And this is the problem for those on the hard tyres. You can see Simo, especially on the older hard tyres, struggling slightly just to keep up to those ahead. And Valtters and Ash, they'll be hoping he can stay within a second because of this strategy. If they drop outside of DRS range, they're going to lose a large chunk of time to those ahead.
Yeah, it might be a little bit of an incentive for them to perhaps get a move on, try and overtake Simo at some point in this race, as Walters is not going to be overtaken in that way, sliding out the final corner. It seems like a lot of drivers are actually struggling with that part of the track. Blizzard losing touch with the top drivers in front of him, and could invite Christmas to go for a move. Just a slight tap to the rear of the Racing Point car. No damage coming off that Renault, at least visibly. Could be possibly 1% damage. Doesn't seem like anything has been done. No cars with any percentage of damage on the grid. Good to see at this point in time. At one safety car for that very matter. So yeah, at this point for the leaders, it seems like they are they're in a chill position here.
Yeah, they are. But Connor just reminded us that season 26, the last time Samuel Bean was in the top tier, he scored a grand total of 1 point. As things stand at the moment, he is currently on for the perfect 17 points as he has the fastest lap as well, a 1 minute point 866, and I don't think it'll be too long before we maybe see some of those fastest laps coming down, or some drivers thinking about a pit stop. The field just spread out enough, that awkward like half a second window that we see on the F1 game where you drop back to in the dirty air, and where, unless the car ahead of you makes a mistake, you are really going to find it quite difficult to get an overtake done. Although Samuel Bean just pulling out the gap there ever so slightly. I wonder if Matthias went slightly deep into turns 4 and 5, and that allowed Samuel Bean to just pull away ever so slightly, but with the DRS he is able to close that gap up, not having the disadvantage obviously of being in Matthias' position at the moment is you haven't got any clean air, so you might wear out your tyres ever so slightly. They'll be overheating and your engine might be overheating. A slight advantage though is having the DRS, he might be able to save a bit of fuel if he wants to, if he's thinking about maybe at the end of the race being able to attack a bit more. And I'm just looking at the moment, he's got 4 extra laps of fuel compared to how much you need to finish the end of the race, whereas Samuel Bean's only got 2, so they're definitely going to be burning up through those. They'll have saved a bit during the safety car period, but that could put the Mercedes in a good position towards the end with that extra fuel to try and use.
Have the available resource. The car is going to be heavier, so it's probably just that little bit more difficult to maneuver. I'm actually on board with Matthias last time by when he did make a mistake. He a big snap of oversteer on the exit of turn 1, turn 2, and it lost him just about a couple of tenths, and it invited Master Racer just to close up ever so slightly as this train continues onward. Oh, everyone in DRS at this point. Simo just about keeping in touch with the drivers in front of him, as is Blizzard. He's losing a lot actually at this point. I wonder if he's used up a bit too much of his tyres at this point when he's saving ERS. He's got a considerable amount more than Benjamin, so that could be a little bit of tactic from Blizzard to save the resources until he absolutely needs it. But on to lap number 15, these soft tyres are going to start to feel like they are wearing as Matt is closing that gap to just about 0.3 of a second, losing slightly on exit from the dirty air. I would assume this makes the DRS brake a bit too short to really make a move unless you're right behind the car. But yeah, these guys are starting to think about their pistols in turn.
Yeah, I definitely would say so, because I think fastest man last time around, and the only man to do a sub 61 second lap was Christmas, way down in 14th position. So those medium tyres not looking too bad at the moment. We are starting to see those on the mediums just maybe be a tenth or two faster than those at the front of the field. How much of that is down to tyre wear? How much is that down to the fact that Samuel Bean does not have the DRS at the moment? It could remain and see, but an undercut could be a good tactic. They'll have slightly fresher tyres, of course, because of the safety car. I don't think anyone is yet nearing, well, a few of the drivers are starting to near 50% on their rear tyres, so maybe we're not too far away. And there comes the pit window sign. And here comes Matthias going straight down the inside on the one towards turn 1. This should be a fairly straightforward move. Samuel Bean, though, very late on the brakes, trying to hold it off all the way around the outside. Is he going to be able to do so? Yes, he is. Fantastic defending from the Spaniard there. Able to hold it off all the way around the outside. And that battle just allowed Vasta Racer to get within contact ever so slightly, with a wheel spin coming out of turn 4 and 5, though, ruining any chances he had of making a move. Further down the back of the field, though, Wouters has got his way ahead of Simo, and now he's got to try and close up to the back of Casimir, Christmas and Blizzard as soon as he possibly can.
It looked like an easy move for Matthias coming in towards turn 1, but tell you what, Samuel Bean defended that beautifully, and but he only scored 1 point in season 26 on his return. He could be taking the full shebang on his first race back. Of course, it is not set in stone, and Matthias could be sniffing an opportunity come the first corner once he gets a bit further back than he was last time. But he still could be hunting for the overtake. He is closing, not using up any of his overtake. He's not going to dive down the inside. He's going to hang back for the time being on the Williams car. 17. With that, 2 laps under the safety car, I'd say they're probably going to extend their stint by around about 1 lap. So earliest we'll see driver would say is lap 20 or 21, and then the drivers think about lap 22 or 23. So undercut strategies could be key, especially if you're further back in the top 10. I'm talking guys like Joost Duncan, Midnight, and Will G. These guys are going to be in the best position, especially with the leading alternate strategy runner of Gamer closing up right behind them, because those medium tyres most likely at this point are a lot quicker than the softs that are beginning to fade away. So it is all about mind gears at this point. When do you want to pit? Well, these guys are not going to think about it now. They're going to have to stay out for the time being.
Really, I was just going to stay out for a few laps longer, and I was thinking someone like Joost Duncan, it's going to be worth what either one of the Alfa Romeos may be coming into the pits. Wilson just pulling out of the slipstream ever so slightly as Matthias has sent one down the inside into turn 1, and this time around he has been able to get that move done. Maybe going for it a bit later on the brakes as Recon gets a penalty for speeding into the pit lane. He has had a bit of a nightmare race this time around, but Matthias takes the lead, getting his way past Samuel Bean. He sized it up a couple of laps ago, wasn't able to make the move. A bit more decisive on the brakes that time around, straight down the inside. Nothing the Williams driver can do. Now we'll see Matthias can just use that ERS that he's got 80% at this moment in time to try and push himself maybe outside of that 1 second window and take the very last bit of rubber out of these tyres before his pit stop.
Probably see all the drivers blitzing up their ERS come the pistol fake, because they'll make it all back once they're in the box. Only 1 penalty on the circuit at the moment. That is going away off free cancer in the pit lane. Softs interestingly enough, so he's looking to make at least 1 more stop in this race. Looks like no more move coming into turn 1, but speaking of that, Joost giving a little bit of a touch to Jordan coming through the first corner. It was very light, so no damage on that Alfa Romeo. He is getting a little bit feisty, probably wanting to make up positions before the window definitely does open. There's the first move for the medium runners. Gamer moving up to the 10th position. Nothing will be out of the top 10 laps. Sectors 2 and 3. I don't think that's for anything. I'd expect Will to probably have let Gamer through, because I know that they are pretty good friends. So yeah, I wouldn't expect fighting each other too hard. Maybe a little bit of cross teaming, which isn't advised, but nevertheless, Gamer is in the top 10, and those medium tyres are going to be rapid.
Yes, Samuel Bean having a fake down the inside into the final corner. That's not a normal place where you see a move, so I wonder if Matthias made a slight mistake coming out of turn 8, and I don't think he'll be able to defend here. Neither of them actually getting the DRS. Vasta Racer has got the DRS, and we're going to be going 3 wide on the run down towards turn 1. Vasta Racer on the grass ever so slightly. Matthias in the middle of all these, and it's Samuel Bean back into the lead of this race. Can Matthias get the cutback coming out? No, he cannot. Vasta Racer drops back to 3rd place as well. So a very opportunistic move by Samuel Bean to get down the inside. Vasta trying to take advantage, just slightly ran out of road, and now Mish trying to have a go at the Haas driver. He's put himself vulnerable to Wilson, who in the end just backs off. It's all started getting very lively all of a sudden. Will going down the inside of CRG Gamer as well into turn 1 as Recon sets the fastest lap of the race. Just a bit of a test session for him now around the short circuit, but Samuel Bean fighting back straight away there.
A really wants to hold on to that lead. Going on to lap 20 here, you would expect the pit window to be open, and we could see some drivers attempt the undercut. Samuel Bean, Matthijs, Buster all staying out here. Mish is coming into the pit lane. He's the only driver inside the top 10 to attempt the undercut on lap 20. Matthijs onto the back of Samuel Bean, once again to stay in P2 for the time being, but they are all getting very aggressive here as Midnight has made the move on Duncan. Duncan trying to hold him back around the outside. They're still going wheel to wheel here. He's going to run out of road if he's not too careful, and he's lost the position out to Midnight, but now he could be trying to go back up the inside. He's keeping that overtake on. He's going to switch it to the outside line. He's going to brake a lot later, coming through the apex, locking up, and that is cost him a handful of time and the position to Will LG. So Duncan trying to get aggressive, and it has not worked out for him. Might go back up the inside of the Alpha Tauri car. Has he made this one stick? Will LG going right off the circuit to defend. He's been pretty much forced wide, as now they're coming wheel to wheel down the straightaway. As no contact being made, as Recon retiring in the pit lane here. Duncan moving up into 8th position after losing it, as more drivers coming to the pit lane. Samuel Bean is the first one to pull in. Jordan, Yost, and there's so many drivers I can't even count. I think Midnight and Will were the only others.
Yeah, I think it's quicker if we go through the drivers who didn't pit there. Matthias, Vasteracer, Wilson, and Duncan. No surprise that Duncan's staying out, seeing as his teammates did pit in all of that. Christmas working his way past Casper, so he's now up into 8th place. And Wouters and Ash, they've managed to work their way past Simo, just trying to see if they can close onto the back of anyone now. Have we seen a swap of some of the orders in the pit lane? We have indeed. The power of the undercut, ladies and gentlemen. Mish up into 14th place. You could say the net leader of the race. It all depends on whether Wouters, Ash and Suso have to come into the pits again.
They do have to come in, but that's that difference in pace is going to be very extortionate between the both of them. So yeah, it's going to be very key for Mish to just stay consistent. Sorry, I'm losing my voice here. Matthijs, oh my gosh, hang on, sorry.
Big Dan struggling with the excitement at this moment in time. Midnight, the first driver to get a track limits penalty. They've kept it pretty clean on track limits at the moment, and we've only got one driver who is staying out on the soft tyres. Vasteracer clearly not feeling too bad on his tyres at the moment. 70% on that rear left, and as soon as you hit the 70%, that's the magical puncture point where at any moment, you don't know when, you don't know why. Well, you do know why, it's because you put too much wear in the tyres, but you don't know when it's going to go pop. It might be at 71, it might be at 99%, so Vasteracer, I think, will be coming into the pits very shortly as that car is starting to look a bit slidey on the rear end all of a sudden. Gamer, though, in second place all of a sudden. CRG not looking too bad, with Matthias in a 3rd position out of those that pitted from the softs onto the mediums, and Gamer, Benjamin and Blizzard leading on this alternate strategy at this moment in time, and now leading the race entirely as Vasteracer comes out into the pits. Let's see though how much this going out a couple of laps longer than some of the others is going to cost Vasta, because judging by how powerful Mish's undercut was and how he got ahead of everyone, he could drop a long way to the back of this medium pack.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there with my voice, but I am back, and I've got another sip of water, so hopefully I don't have any issues like that. I do apologise for the professionalism not showing its prowess, but Yo's trying to go for the move on Jordan into turn number 1. For the time being, can't make that move stick, but as it is, Mish has jumped the rest of the pack at the front, who started on the soft tyres. It is all about keeping these tyres alive towards the end. It's going to be a tough one for them to go to the end here. Looking at 30 plus laps on this set of medium compound tyres, so it is just about saving them and to fight with the softs. They're going to have soft towards the end because they're going to have a massive undercut. So the alt strat is going to be crucial for these drivers at the front, and well, Gamer's going to be in prime position to make up positions on these softs.
Yeah, he is indeed. And these front two, well, these front three, I should say, the McLaren of Gamer and the racing points of Benjamin and Blizzard have got away from Casper ever so slightly. That gap is at 2 seconds. Christmas on the back of Casper at this moment in time, looking as though he was struggling with a bit of traction coming out of turn 4 and 5. And crucially, Wouters nearly within that magic 1 second window. So we'll see how the tyres do on these drivers on the hards. If we just have a look at the moment, Wouters is on 30% on his rear tyre, after 17 laps on them. He has got to do, I've got to do some maths. I thought I'd just finished all that when I left university, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. He's going to have to do, them tyres are going to be at 80+%, I think, by the end of this race. That is going to be dangerous, to say the least, for Valtters, Ash and Suso.
Yeah, it's when you get to around about 75%, that's when the puncture territory does begin to settle in, and they will definitely see the flashing red light on their dashboard. So I think that's something they won't be looking forward to. They're probably praying for another safety car in this race, and hopefully we don't see it, and hopefully we don't see anyone falling out of the pack, because that would not be good to see anyone DNF out the front. We only had one retiree in this Grand Prix, that is Recon. Of course, he had a terrible race, being lapped early on, which pretty much put him out of any chance of getting a good position come the end of it. Mish pulling away from Samuel Bean by quite some amount. Of course, I do believe Mish is on the pad, so that is an advantage around this circuit. But in about 3 laps, they pulled 3 seconds, I'd say, to the drivers in front on the hard tyres. So it's safe to say that these medium are in a very, very short position right now.
Yeah, they are indeed. As you'd expect, they're catching up to those at the front. They're also catching up slightly to those on the hard tyres. Last lap around for Mish, he was, well, I think he was actually one of the quickest drivers on the set of the medium tyres, 1:0.727, as Casper got down the inside of Christmas there, working his way back up the order. So, well, actually, he's fighting back at Christmas, who must have overtaken him earlier on. So the Renaults are back to 5th and 6th position. But as I was saying, Suso did a 1:01.7. Mish last lap was a 1:01.0. So those on the mediums are catching up about 7/10 of a second. And at that rate, these on the hards, it's going to be very difficult for them to A, get them to the end, and B, get them to the end at a decent enough pace that they are able to have a gap to those on the mediums behind. So whether it'll be worth them coming into the pits with the soft tyres as well, we'll have to wait and see, because they're not far off those medium runners at the front. In fact, I think if I was these guys, and as a driver who was always qualifying last in F11, I'm definitely not these guys, this is why I stick to the reporting, they must be thinking about going for soft tyres, as Christmas has a go back at Casper, and that's a straightforward move back into 4th. But surely if you're on the hards, you're going to struggle to get them to the end. You might as well go for the softs.
Yeah, it's really all about playing the gamble, I suppose, and realistically they're going to lose the time to all the drivers as well. So I think it wouldn't be out of reach for these guys to come into the pit lane once that window really does open for these soft tyres. So it is all up to them. I think either strategy could work, but it's really difficult to tell. I think they might just get to the end. Of course, Simo is going to have to pit. He hasn't made his stop, so he will be going onto the soft tyres. Valtters, Ashbest and Suso, but it's either the perfect strategy or it's a complete messed up one from their point of view.
Yeah, we've got to just see how they go with this. If we've got some choices to make, of course it'd make it more interesting for us if we had 1 or 2 of them coming to the pits, or a couple of them decide to stay out. Now Simo, that is a very early pit stop. He's going for a hard medium strategy. This is something that we didn't really have on the cards at the moment. Simo coming into the pits for the medium tyres. He will drop to the back of the field and should catch slightly up to some of those ahead of him. But yes, this is very interesting indeed, and this might mean something for those that are trying to A, get the hard tyres towards the end, or B, even get the mediums to a long enough distance, as Matthias has bullied his way there past Samuel Bean up into 10th position on the run down towards turn 4. I think clearly thinking that he was seeing Mish just get away and think, right, I can't afford to stay behind this Williams for too much longer. I need to get onto the back of that Ferrari before he starts escaping.
Well, with that move, in doing so, he actually did lose the DRS to Mish in front of him. He's just been able to pull it back under, and there is the first pit stop coming out. It was Blizzard coming in for his set of, I'd assume, soft tyres. You wouldn't have gone this long on the mediums not to put on the Red Bull tyres, and it is indeed the soft compound going on for Blizzard. Undercut strategy, going to be running 27 laps on this set, so it is going to be a very big push. But you are on lighter fuel than you are at the start of the race, and we'll see where he comes out in relation to the rest of the field. Only a couple of seconds behind them.
Yeah, only a few seconds behind him. He's going to have to be careful here. Yes, he wants to make some moves, but being stuck in this much of a train, he's going to send them soft tyres into overheating very, very quickly. So just needs to be very gentle with them on the first few laps, I feel, before maybe starting to be choosy about his moves and maybe taking advantage of those on the mediums going off later on. But still in the lead of the racing, it is CRG Gamer. Benjamin is in second place. Will either of them react to the pit stop of Blizzard? No, they decide to stay out, and Casper, judging by the wheel spin coming through the final corner there, I was half expecting him to drift his way into the pits. He didn't do, and Valters is closing up ever so slightly. They're both closing up to the back of Christmas, either of them not able to go for a move. I think Valters might have sent one on Casper there if his teammate wasn't in the firing line in the braking zone. And you've still got Ash and Suso behind him. Matthias has quickly got back into that DRS zone, and Mish going very deeply there into turns 2 and 3, just able to hold off. But already you can see a couple of lockups there and going a bit deep into those corners. That's going to give the Mercedes driver confidence that he can maybe get him even as soon as next time around.
Yeah, he might actually be going for it right here, right now, as he just backs off at the very last second. He could have gone for the move if he wanted to, but it is a pretty quick corner. They're about 4th gear, so it's not ideal to make a dive bomb. You'll scrub off a lot of speed, as we saw with Duncan trying to go around the outside of Midnight a number of laps ago. Maybe, though, he could try it in towards turn number 1. All the medium runners yet to come into the pit lane. They're all going to stay out, but Christmas actually pulls into the pit lane as there's Walters on Casper. So the Renault drivers making their individual decisions. I'd expect the medium runners, yeah, definitely the medium runners, to come into the pit lane very soon. It is the soft compound of tyres coming on for Christmas, and we'll see where he comes out in relation to Blizzard. Well, Blizzard is miles up the road, and actually, speaking of which, he's right up to the train now.
Yeah, he is indeed. In fact, Christmas is going to be very close to dropping behind Simo here. The Ferrari driver going to have the racing line on the run down into turn 1. We didn't have any Maldonado Gutierrez 2014 moment there, but Christmas has dropped behind Simo. That won't be too much of a problem for him. That extra grip on the soft tyre should make that move fairly straightforward, but you'd have wanted to be ahead of the Ferrari, I'm sure, rather than behind him. And the power of A, the undercut, and B, a bit of just track difference there. Blizzard now all of a sudden around 7.5 seconds ahead of the Renault. So Benjamin now comes into the pits. Casper staying out, as does CRG Gamer, as we go on to lap 33 of this race. And while all that's been going on, Samuel Bean, while all this has been happening, he's now dropped down into 9th place. He's behind Matthias and he's probably behind Mish as well. Mish has managed to drop back from Matthias, so things getting very interesting. We are starting to see a few moves going on here, and Matthias, he'll just be thinking about building a gap now, knowing that he's got slightly fresher tyres than those behind him. If he can just, I'd imagine, maybe, just maybe, pick one lap, save a lot of ERS, go for it. If you break that window, it'll be hard for the Ferrari driver to catch you back up.
Yeah, it's pretty smart if he does choose to do so. Only 2 medium runners out on circuit at this point in time. Gamer leading the Grand Prix from Bowser, second on the hard compound tyres, but he's already made a pit stop. He can possibly go to the end here. He's on 25 laps at the moment, and it seems like he's actually quite confident on this compound. Gamer stays out, as does Casper. We've got Ashbest with company right behind him. Maybe trying to make the send coming into turn number 1. He hangs back because Casper goes very deep on the brakes, almost taking the back of the Renault car. He's lost quite a lot of time because of that bit of a loss of traction, as Blizzard making a move on one of the drivers. He almost goes, that's Duncan actually almost going into the back of Faster Racer. Blizzard forcing his way through, almost forcing Duncan off the track. They come very close to contact, and there is contact between the pair of them. I think Blizzard's kind of lucky actually to not have his end plate chopped off there.
Yeah, very lucky indeed not to get any damage. It shows you how much pace he had. He was able to get ahead of Will before into turn 1, where I think only once we've seen anyone attempt an overtake into turn 6 and be able to successfully pull it off. And now look at Blizzard coming up through turn 18. He's got so much more grip than the medium tyres at this moment in time. Blizzard straight down the inside of Duncan into 14th place, and he'll have the DRS to help him defend as well. Gamer comes into the pit, as does Casper. So it is now the trio of hard runners: Valters, Ashbest and Suso. 1, 2, 3. Matthias is going to make his way up into 4th place, and we'll see where Gamer and Casper and all these guys come out, they're going to be a long way behind Blizzard, where they're going to come out relative to Benjamin. In fact, Benjamin managing to jump Gamer as well, as has Christmas working his way past the McLaren, and Simo just trying to hold off around the outside there. Not able to do so. 3 different strategies going on here, and we've still got 23 laps of this race, and we're not quite sure which one's going to end out best at the moment. Valters, Ash and Suso are your top 3, and Matthias just 6.5 seconds off the back of that pack at this moment in time. This is going to be a very intriguing end to this race.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I don't know which strategy is going to work out in this one. I'd expect the soft tyres and the hard tyres to be the strongest coming in. I think those mediums will just begin to die off at the end of the race, especially Misha's tyres. He went for the undercut out of everyone. 14 laps, the oldest medium tyre on the circuit, so could be in punch territory come the end of the race. Midnight defending hard from Vasta Racer, who's trying to go to the outside line. He's gone into the back of Wilson. Hughes that he might have got a slight bit of wing damage, but he's now trying to force his way through on Midnight. They're still going wheel to wheel, and Vasta Racers made that one stick, and Blizzard's going to sneak through on the Red Bull driver now, and he could also try and pit Vasta Racer if he's feeling cheeky enough to stay back behind, but Midnight losing 2 positions in just a series of corners there.
Did they make adamantium front wings on that Haas car or something? I have no idea. It was quite a hefty contact on the back of Wilson. I have no idea how he's actually got all his front wings still intact after that. He has done. It's allowed Blizzard to get through as well. I don't think it'll be too long before Blizzard starts having a go at Vasta Racer. Even though he is stuck in this DRS train, he's already shown that he is able to make the move. So we'll keep an eye on him coming out of the final corner. He's not got a lot of ERS at this moment in time, and Vasta's not really bothering to defend too much at this moment in time. Blizzard straight down the inside. Will Vasta be able to fight back into the braking zone? No, he will not. He's into 10th place. Juice has had a bit of contact, I think, on the back of Jordan, and that's allowed Wilson straight through. So Juice now down into 9th place, Duncan into 13th. Alfa Romeo seem to be struggling all of a sudden, and Wilson just very opportunistic there, staying far enough behind to make sure that he doesn't get involved in any contact, and when the opportunity presents itself, straight up the inside. Very smart from the reigning champion. Yeah,
Juice was a bit too aggressive, I think, on the back of Jordan, and he tried to go very, very late lunge, and it was half committed, I'd say, which you can't do. You can't make half committed moves. You go full on send. You want to make the position. He just went into the back of the right rear tyre of the Haas car, and he did get a slight turn, but luckily no damage for that Alfa Romeo. Playing with reduced damage, Don, because I'd have thought just that slight bit of wing damage coming off to one of the cars at least at some point in this race. Could Duncan be on the move, going up the inside of Midnight? Not quite Midnight, just staying ahead of the Alfa Romeo driver, as Blizzard is right to the back of Yost now.
Yeah, he is. So Yost is going to be his next target. They're all slowly still catching up to Valters, Ash and Suso. Matthias now 5.5 seconds off the back of those drivers. Last time around, well, he's going to need to catch up around about at this moment, around about a quarter of a second a lap. Last time around, he was catching up 6/10, so that gap might come down ever so slightly as the mediums start wearing faster, obviously, than the hard tyres. But will the hard tyres be able to make it towards the end of the race? That is the big question at this moment in time. Samuel being slowly catching up to the back of Mish. Christmas now getting a 3-second time penalty. It's not been the greatest race for the Shizou drivers for keeping it clean. Recon retiring in the pits with damage, and Midnight and Christmas, only 2 drivers that we've seen get on-track penalties at this moment in time. Blizzard closing up to the back of Hughes. He's going to be able to send one on the brakes down the inside, using the extra grip from those soft tyres. Hughes is going to fight back, but I think Blizzard should have the line coming into turn 4. That should be a fairly straightforward move for him. He is up into 9th place, making his moves decisively and cleanly as well, and he's not losing DRS to a driver in front, which is all important.
Yeah, on his 100th race start, he's made up 10 positions in this race, so the ultimate strategy working a treat for Blizzard in this one. Of course, 8 laps on that set of softs. It's going to be very, very tough for him to maintain positions at the end. A big mistake out from Wilson there. He's losing a lot of time to the drivers in front of him. Jordan, about 5/10 between them, as he's actually just pulled up ever so slightly to his rear. So, well, his tyres 8 laps old. I'd expect their beauty period to begin to go off ever so slightly. but still be considerably faster than those leaders at this point.
Yeah, they are indeed. Jordan was looking pretty close to the back of Samuel Bean. His meat, I can tell you, the softs on Blizzard are now about as warm as the mediums on Wilson and all those drivers behind him as Will and Duncan have made contact there. We just came on board halfway through that. Benjamin needs to be careful that he doesn't get too caught up in all of this. Will's managed to work his way past Duncan. Benjamin trying to go around the outside here. Will just slowing down ever so slightly. I think he's run out of ERS, and is Benjamin going to be able to go all the way around the outside at turn 6? Very good move if he can pull it off. He should have the tyre grip to do so. At this moment in time, Will's trying everything to try and hang on to that. Not able to do so. So Will losing a couple of places. Well, losing a place, but he was actually trying to make up a place in the end. Not able to get past Duncan, and Benjamin, that's allowed him through, and he's right on the back of Duncan as well. This is going to be a fantastic end to the race. Suso closing up to the back of Ashbest at this moment in time as well for second and third place. The Williams driver's going to try and send one up the inside into turn 1, the common overtaking point in this race. Not able to do so. There goes Benjamin straight down the inside using the DRS past Duncan. So he's now starting to make his way past some of these medium runners.
Here comes Blizzard as well, trying to get back onto Wilson. Hughes, Wilson going defensive to the inside line. They're on the run up towards, I believe, turn number 6 is Matthew. Gonna go breaking out around the outside. He's gone very deep on the brake, and he's using that grip to his advantage. He's trying to hold it on the McLaren driver. They come very, very close to contact, but the Racing Point car trying to slip up the inside. He's made that one stick into 8th position. That is another medium runner picked off in this one. That is now, I believe, 6 overtakes made on this set of soft tyres, but it could be back down to 5 because Wilson's trying to go back up the inside. He's going to back out the very last second, but what a move from Blizzard there, and he gets very itchy on the exit, a bit too excited on the throttle. It might not be over there though for the battles, because Vasta Racer is only a 10th back, and Wilson's also trying to make the move, so they're all getting very, very feisty in the midfield here. Here comes Wilson around the outside of Blizzard, and there's also Vasta Racer fighting it out with Yost. They were pretty much 2x2 Noah's Ark style. I'm surprised none of them have picked up any damage. Vasta Racer finds a way past Yost, but he's still hanging it on in there.
Yeah, Midnight's right at the back of all these as well, so Vasta Racer Yost. Midnight, all this battling's doing is holding everyone up. Midnight's gone round the outside of 1 into turn 6. Can he make that stick? Thought for a second he was going to get Vasta Racer and Yost there, but in the end, just had to give up that pursuit for now, and Yost trying to get back his VSR teammate. Things are getting very exciting all of a sudden here. 16 laps to go. Gamer's now managed to work his way past Duncan and Will as well. Things not looking too great for them. 15th and 16th place. Simo down in 19th. It's going to be quite hard, I think, for any of them to get any points unless we have a safety car later in this race. And we've not really talked about Wouters for a bit all of a sudden. There's been so much battling going on behind him in the mediums and the soft runners. Wouters still in the lead of this race. 35 laps on those tyres. Rear left currently on 61%, so might just be above that 75% later on in the race, as Eustace managed to try and fight his way back at Midnight. And this is the problem for Benjamin and Gamer and all these trying to work their way up. If they get stuck in someone else's battle, it's very easy for them to pick up some damage, or as we saw earlier when Vasta tried to go 3 wide with, can't quite remember who it was now. There's not a lot of space to do so at some parts on this track.
Yeah, it's very difficult to make an overtake. A lot of battling goes through a series of corners which do make the drivers lose time, so it's not ideal to be caught in these high-speed trains. But Gamer has finally caught up to the back of the leading group, well, I guess the top 4 group, so the best of the rest. He's going to get Midnight on the exit here, pretty much storming past the reserve driver, filling in for Lee Finley on MIA tonight, as Benjamin making the move up the inside in towards turn 1 into the front zone. He makes the move stick, and his teammate has also got past Jordan. So the Racing Point team having a sensational Grand Prix today.
Yeah, I think we could have done with about 4 different cameras there. Gamer got past Midnight, Blizzard got past Jordan, Benjamin got past Hughes, and Christmas got past Duncan as well. So that's Christmas up into 15th place. Benjamin now just 1 place off of the points, and the Racing Point team, as you said, after probably not the most ideal qualifying for them. Say that Benjamin did get reverse pole position, of course, so things are starting to get very good indeed for them. It's just, can their softs last in a good enough condition towards the end of the race? Blizzard's maybe might be struggling slightly more than Benjamin towards the end, so that could be something to watch as Gamer and Used are going side by side into turn 9 and 10. It'll be interesting to see which one of them got the DRS. I think they've both got it off the carving front anyway, and Gamer managing to make that position stick. Vasta on the back of Wilson, not able to get close enough. ERS usage is going to be absolutely critical here, because if you're dropping below that 10% point, if you start clipping on your ERS, you're going to find it a lot harder to make the overtakes, as Casper now makes his way past Duncan. That is the Alfa Romeo driver down into 17th.
Oh, Vasta's round! Vasta's lost the car, and he's got wing damage. Benjamin made the move onto the Haas car, and he pretty much forced him right off the circuit, and it seems like Vasta's gone into wall. I couldn't have had a worse camera angle for that shot, but Vasta Racer, big wing damage to that Haas car, and he's got 76 on the left side of the wing, and then on the right, well, it's 31%, so he's going to have to pick or go for the fastest lap, I would assume, but big moment for him. They're having such a good race, but it is just completely all unraveled with that contact with Benjamin. I wouldn't be surprised if the stewards are notified about that one.
Yeah, I think that one could definitely go to the stewards. Jordan and Blizzard having a fight here, so that's Blizzard staying in 7th place. Christmas and Midnight, the Shazoo boys battling in the background as well. Only for 13th and 14th at the moment, but it is crucial for both of them that they try and hang up in as many places as possible. They've both got 3 seconds worth of penalties. I imagine those on the hard tyres, when they saw that yellow flag, maybe a tiny bit of them was just praying for a full safety car. Walters 67% rear left, Ashbest 65%, Suso 63%. They're definitely in puncture territory at the end of this game. They are in the lap of the Pirelli gods at the end of this race as to whether they do end up getting a puncture or not. Blizzard obviously going slightly earlier on his tyres. His rears are on 50% at the moment. Gamer, I don't know what Gamer's done. He must be absolutely smooth on these tyres at the moment. All of his are under 30% at this moment in time. He's got no tyre worries on those soft tyres, so he's going to be one to watch in the final 11 laps of this race. Benjamin just pulling out of the slipstream of Wilson slightly, who pulled out of the slipstream of Jordan. Blizzard sending one down the inside. He's a trademark turn 1 dive bomb now. Misha's got a penalty trying to defend from that, and it was kind of pointless trying to defend from that. Blizzard up into 6th. Only Matthias and Samuel being ahead of him, and then he's up to the hard runners.
Just noticed on the task that Jost has got a slight bit of wing damage on the left side, 12% for him. So just a little bit slower come the end of the Grand Prix. You can just see visually how much time he's losing through the rest of the cars in front of him. Casper goes right at the inside of Christmas in towards 9, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Benjamin also trying to make a descent on Wilson. These guys are getting very feisty at the lower end of the top 10. Their tyres might be going off at the end of the race, but they've got the game on right behind them as well. They have to be careful of the charging McLaren, who's stayed out later than anyone else on the medium tyres, and he's got the freshest set right towards the end of Benjamin, having a half look at the inside of Wilson coming in towards turn number 1. They're going to go wheel to wheel. Benjamin almost being forced off the circuit. He breaks later than Wilson. A slight touch by Gamer as well into the back of his teammate, so he loses out on that position. The reigning PSGL champion could be out the points in the first race.
Yeah, he could be indeed. Casper's managed to get past Joost. I thought I saw a bit of contact in the background, just coming onto the main straight between Christmas and Midnight. Thankfully, there wasn't any damage. There was any contact, but you can see there how much use has cost him. He's now dropped behind Casper. Vasta Racer, fair play to him carrying on at this moment in time. Not really got any chance of getting points, but at least he's got a fastest lap point, so a bit of pride for him. All of a sudden, is Mish going to try and have a fight back at Blizzard here on the run down towards turn 1. He's got the DRS open. He's got a bit more ERS at this moment in time, and he might be able to make this stick, you know. Blizzard's soft tyre advantage might be slowly disappearing here, and he might not even have an advantage now. Mish is able to get that move done well ahead before the turning point for turn 1. And there we go, the Ferrari back up into 6th place as Gamer gets past Wilson. I'm not sure this is the best idea, Wilson, to be fighting with your teammate. He's on fresher tyres at the moment, has got half a chance of getting a victory here. And there we go, Gamer into 10th position. I never thought I'd save a driver in 10th with 9 laps to go around a circuit that takes about a minute to do a lap. He's got a chance of getting a win, but barring short, it's one of those strange circuits.
It's thrown a lot of surprises our way in this one, as all Benjamin right to the back of Jordan. He's just about avoided wing damage. He's back on his charge on the half car. He's going to go charging up the inside line. He's got pretty much nothing left on the ERS. He's going to make the move in towards the final corner, and that could push Jordan back into Gamer at some point, because actually Jordan's coming right back at him to the inside line, using up the last of his overtake. Benjamin might not take this one lying down though, because he could send it back up in towards turn number 1, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to go later on the break with the fresher soft tyres, and he's made that move stick finally on Jordan after about half a lap of battling. Jordan really can't go on or anyone is stuck in the DRS train, so he can't make the move stick. But what a move from Benjamin there.
Yeah, and now, quite importantly maybe for the way this race is going, pretty much everyone is in the DRS train. Samo and Will have dropped a bit further back, as has Vasta, but Matthias right on the back of Suso, Ash and Valters. Now, what have you got left in these hard tyres, gentlemen? 43 laps from Suso, 42 laps from Ash and Valters, and they're not going to be feeling too fantastic at this moment in time. Thankfully for them, Bahrain is a night race and not a day race, because I dread to think what the wear would have been like if this was taking place under the glaring sunlight all of a sudden. But Valter's still leading. Ash, Suso, Matthias, Samuel B, Mish, Blizzard, Benjamin, Jordan and Gamer, although that could very shortly be Gamer and Jordan, the McLaren driver, going down the inside into turn 1. I might as well get a tape recording of myself saying that and just playing it. It's the same move that we've basically seen every single lap, but Gamer managing to do it cleanly, getting himself up into 9th position. Benjamin in 8th, Blizzard in 7th, 3 soft runners all together, and the man with the worst tyres out of the soft runners is leading them, and Gamer with the best is in 9th place. Could see some battling with the CRG boys.
Yeah, that is probably what.
Oh,
Demons.
Matthias is round. Sorry to interrupt you. Matthias is round. I think he's trying to get past Suso. He's made contact with him. Samuel B, Mish and Blizzard all getting their way through, and Blizzard might be able to get another car here down the inside into the final corner. Is he able to get past the Ferrari? Yes, he is. He pushed him wide ever so slightly, and now Matthias is able to fight back. Valters, Ash and Suso are all over 70% tyres at this moment in time, so they are going to be able to be very careful indeed. Blizzard down the inside. Well, sorry, Matthias down the inside of Mish, nearly into the back of Blizzard there. I don't know whether Matthias went for a move into turn 8 on Suso, and whether the Williams driver didn't see him coming or didn't give him the space. But Matthias, very lucky to not end up with a full spin there, very lucky to not get any damage, but he has lost, well, he's lost 3 places.
Yeah, Gamer's now trying to sneak up the inside of his CRG comrade in Benjamin. He managed to make that move stick, so now on 16 lap hold, soft tyres, he's going to be going toe to toe with Matthias next up for 7th position. They've got Mish just in front of them. Mish, one of the only drivers in this train, actually the only driver in the train with a penalty to his name, so he will be a number of positions, might even be out of the points entirely, as Matthias really bad exit. Here comes Gamer now coming down the straightaway. This will be an easy move for the McLaren driver, and he is going to be on a charge coming towards the end of this race, and maybe try to sneak up the inside of Mish. Going to hang back for the time being. Matthias still fighting this one back though, and they're going wheel to wheel through turn 2 and 3 as that surely has to be a penalty getting removed, because Matthias pretty much just hit him off the circuit and actually picked them up a penalty. So Gamer going to be losing out a number of positions due to the penalties at the end. I'd expect him to send that one to the stewards and get that removed.
Yeah, I'd say he's got a very good chance to get that penalty removed. I can't imagine he'll be too happy. And there we go, the first one. The first tyre has gone rear left on Valters. We said it was going to be it was going to be luck if they got to the end of this race. That's what they needed, and that's what Valters hasn't had. And I was mentioning maybe you should pick when everyone else came in for the soft tyres off the mediums, because now Ash and Suso are going to be like, uh-oh, his tyre's gone, and we've still got 4 more laps to go and 40 more corners to go. Blizzard in 4th place. Samuel Beam, he's on the medium tyres. He's in 2nd place, and he might very well soon be in 1st place. He is going for it down the inside into turn 1 on Ash Best, and he's got the move done. Ash has just got nothing left to fight with on traction. This could help Samuel, because obviously Blizzard has got to get past these drivers as well to be tyres in the pits. Perhaps not that surprising. Simo gets ahead of Christmas, and now Mish is getting very close to the back of Blizzard. If anyone ever asks, why does Formula 1 take 3 different tyres to a race? Here's your answers, ladies and gentlemen.
still all up in the air as to whether Suso and Ashbest are going to make it to the end of the race, retiring in the pit lane as well. That makes 3 retirements in this Grand Prix. Gamer going to get me on the exit, and he could see himself maybe trying to challenge with the Blizzard on his 100th race. He's in 4th position. He's made up a number of positions. Don't worry about those yellow flags. It's just the Renault car of Vals's coming up pit lane. Here comes Gamer now down the straightaway, opening up the DRS for 4th position on circuit. Blizzard might be wise to not fight this because of how old his tyres are. He doesn't want to take them right to the end and puncture his own softs. So there is Gamer going inside. And well, there's a little contact now. I think Mish. Oh my goodness me, what is happening back behind? Because and Blizzard are going wheel to wheel. And sorry, not Blizzard. Benjamin are going wheel to wheel. Benjamin makes the move on Matthijs, and it is really where all the mediums are 3 wide at the back. It is Casper trying to make the move on Duncan, and I believe Yost. Well, Yost backing out of that one. Casper moving into 10th position, but he's almost losing out on the tyres. Yellow flags. Is that one of the Renault cars? Is that Walters going to?
No, I think it was Mish. I think Matthijs dived down the inside onto Mish into turn 1. They made contact with each other. I've absolutely no idea again how they've got. Well, how. Ooh, and Hughes has got a bit of damage. Mish has got a bit of damage. Gamer nearly had a lot of damage there on the back of Suso. That nearly sent him flying around. We've got 2 to go here. But yeah, Matthijs sent it on Mish and it gave him a bit of damage, pushed him offline. With the dirty tyres and with the old tyres, not able to do a lot. Matthijs trying to go all the way around the inside of Benjamin, now not able to make that move stick, and Jordan trying to have a go at fighting back as well. Gamer has got down the inside of Suso. Suso well off track there. Will gets himself a penalty. Benjamin and Blizzard are going to be almost side by side on the run down towards turn 6 here, and you've got Ash still trying to hang on the back of Samuel Bean as well. 1 and a bit laps to go. Put some names in a hat, ladies and gentlemen, and pick them out, and you might not be too far wrong with who ends up getting this race. Ash, 80% on that rear left. Will it last towards the end of this race? Will he be one of the lucky ones? Well, similarly with Suso as well. Not too long to go. Benjamin on the back of Blizzard again. Will we see the Racing Point swap position?
Yeah, well, coming off the final corner, Samuel Bean now going to begin the final lap of the Grand Prix. And what story this could be for the Spaniard coming up from F2 after being demoted from F1. He's got 1 more tour of this race to go. Best right behind him could pick up a podium on the first race of his 10th season in F1. Wilson Hughes making the move on Jordan, but they're still fighting it out. Jordan actually managing to come out on top in that one, as Blizzard and Benjamin still fighting it out here on the final lap of the Grand Prix. I think Ashbest is going to lose the position to Gamer now coming into 2nd position. What a charge Gamer's had in this race.
Yeah, indeed, and Matthijs is going to try and go all the way around the outside of Blizzard, and Benjamin here. Can he hold it off all the way? I think there's been a bit of contact between them. One of the Racing Points, that's Benjamin nearly going off the circuit, just about able to hold it. And is that going to give Jordan a chance to go down the inside? No, it has not. This has been an absolutely crazy end to the race. But it is the man who took the lead very early on, just before the safety car period. He's managed to hold on those medium tyres. He heads towards the finish line. Samuel Bean wins at the Bahrain short circuit. Gamer in 2nd for now, but penalties will drop him behind Ash, Suso and Matthijs. Blizzard beating out Benjamin by 58 thousandths of a second. Jordan in 8th. Casper, we didn't really talk about him much. He goes up into 9th place. Wilson in 10th. Duncan, Hughes, Midnight, Samo, Will, Christmas and Mish, the rest of the finishers. I think the Ferrari driver just going for the fastest lap of the race at the moment, so we'll see if he's going to get close to it, and you won't be stealing a point off anyone because it's Vasta who's got this fastest lap at the moment, and Mish heads across the line, does steal the fastest lap, but Samuel Bean, not many people would have had him down as the winner of the first race of the season, but he played it absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, I'm a bit shocked by it as well. Samuel Bean coming up from F2 in season 27. He didn't have the best season, and he was definitely quick enough at some time to be the champion. Of course, that went the way of Benjamin. But thinking back to season 26 in F1, he retired most of the races in the pit lane, and he got completely bullied by the drivers in front of him. But I think he's really proved himself today, and he's come out on top. He wins at Bahrain Short in one of the craziest races in PSGL history.
Yes, definitely. I don't think anyone would have predicted that podium at any point. It is a win, though, for Samuel Bean. 10th place in Belgium was his only point in season 26 in this tier. He's done a bit better than that, taking the victory here. Ash Best in second place as well, and you don't want to know how far back into the archives, Mr. Ash Best, I am having to go to try and find out when you last got a podium in PSGL F1, but it is, as you can tell by the fact that I'm starting to stall, an incredibly long way for him. Suso in third. Matthias manages to get fourth place in the end. Gamer in fifth. He may well get that penalty removed, which would see him going up to second. Blizzard sixth. Benjamin seventh. Jordan Casper Wilson, our reigning champion, rounding out the points. 4.6 seconds off the lead of this race. Only good enough for 10th place. 4.8 seconds takes you outside the points for Duncan. And then it was Used, Midnight, Simo, Will, Christmas, Mish getting the fastest lap. Vasta Racer and Volters were classified after retiring in the pits. Recon was the final driver. What an end to that! What an end to that race. Everyone on slightly different strategies. Weren't sure whether the hard tyres were going to make it. Volters, the unlucky one that didn't make it. Asher's did, and Suso's did as well. But Samuel Bean on those mediums just had enough grip to make his way through.
Yeah, that is really unfortunate for Wouters that it did end that way for him. I found Ash Best's last podium. Came in Japan in season 22. That was his last podium in F1. So well, it's been a long time for him, but I'm sure he'll be very, very pleased to be back on that podium from 17th on the grid as well. But really, I think Wouters feel a bit cheated by the tyres. Maybe he was a bit more aggressive than everyone else. But yeah, puncturing at round about, what, 45 laps maybe, and everyone else was on 50s at the end.
Yeah, I think he'll be a bit aggrieved by that, but you said it yourself, above 75%, you're in that range, and you never know when the tyres are going to go pop. We are going to try and get our top three drivers in for an interview. I'm sure they'll all be delighted with how that race has gone, and in such a short series, you can't really afford to have a bad result early on. I mean, some big names not doing as well as you'd have expected. Used not picking up any points. Last year's runner-up, Vasta Racer, a driver who we've seen win countless races, not picking up any points. Our reigning champion only picking up 1 point, and the different strategies just led to a mixed-up podium, and that risk under the safety car, not what the winner did, but working for our drivers who finished in second and third.
Yeah, and it really just did mark the end of such a crazy race. I've asked the drivers to go into the waiting room. Got Ash Best in there, so we can drag him in just a moment. I'm wondering if we can get Gamer in, because he is one. I think he probably could get that penalty removed, and he could see the podium, which would knock Suso off. So it's possible that we maybe could fit him in.
Yeah, well, we'll give it a go, definitely. We might as well. The more the merrier. Why not? I mean, not all at once. It'd get a bit cramped in here, social distancing and all of that. But we will now drag our first podium, as we said, since season... Was it season 22? Did you say in the end?
I believe it was season 22.
Season 22,
season 22.
So that's F1 2018 for yourself, Mr. Ash Best, and you're certainly one of the best on the tyre wear there. Fantastic performance for yourself. How nervous were you when you saw Valter's tyre get that puncture with about 5 or 6 laps to go?
Oh, I knew that the tires were going to be absolutely dead by the end, and when I saw Valtters go, I was like, okay, that's it. I'm going to take care of them. I'm going to bring this home, because I did not want to end up in his position.
When you came into the pits under the safety car, obviously caused by damage to Recon, were you always thinking, right, these hard tyres will go towards you at the end, or did the 2-stop ever cross your mind?
Oh no, it was definitely the tires going to the end, because I was down in P18, P19, following the same strategy as everyone else wouldn't have worked. So for one side, I decided just to hop into the pits, put on the hards, and risk it all, because I had nothing to lose.
Yeah, definitely had nothing to lose. A track where the alternate strategy has worked out very well for yourself here in Bahrain Short, and Singapore next week, another track where the alternate strategy can work out quite well. You must be feeling fairly confident going into that race.
I mean, yeah, last season I got 7th there, so I'm not too bad at that track. So hopefully alongside the alternate strategy, I might be able to pull something similar or even more.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Dan, do you have any questions for Ash?
Yeah, I've got a comment from you that you made about a week ago, maybe at this point, and he said, the fact that I've been here for 10 seasons is surely illegal. I must have somehow unknowingly committed fraud. This is a massive W. So you think that you didn't deserve to be in F1? Well, after that podium, do you think that has changed for you?
I mean, I'm definitely not one of the quickest drivers on the field. However, the experience is one of the most important factors in PSGL F1. And now, after seeing this, it's just giving me a massive confidence boost. And it just shows how important experience is. And now that with more experience, you deserve to be on this grid because you can pull these things off.
Yeah, and speaking about the experience, I believe that well, Connor has told me that since it's been Blizzard's 100th race, I believe you're the next driver who's going to hit that milestone. So are you going to try and make that one ever more special?
Well, who knows? I mean, I don't know when I'm hitting the 100th race, but anything can happen. It is F1. It is very unpredictable, and especially with such high quality drivers, you don't know what's going to happen. So, if I can pull something out of the bag, then brilliant. But yeah, we just got to wait and see.
Yeah, well, awesome stuff today. It's really good to see you back on the podium after so long.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just really happy about that too.
Yeah, fantastic result, Ash. I'll let you head off now, and I'm sure you'll be fairly happy. Just having a quick look at the VSR chart. I think it's just all capital letters in there now, so I'll let you go off and enjoy your second position.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
And not wanting to put too much of a downer on it, but it might not be a second position for too long. It'll still be a podium, it should be. He may get demoted to third place, because the man who crossed the line in second, and we said might well have took a victory. Big C said he could have taken the victory as well. It is CRG Gamer. Fantastic performance for yourself on that soft tyres. Just that incident with your comrade. There wasn't much camaraderie going on between you and Matthias, ended up costing you ever so slightly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that penalty will get removed because obviously slightly on the curve and it gave me a warning. But yeah, in terms of the race, it was pretty crazy. I mean, when I went into the softs at the last stint, I sort of was seeing the times. I didn't think really I was going to get that high up, but yeah, Bahrain short definitely provided, and there's a lot of chaos which allowed me to get through. And yeah, really happy. But I think there's ERS management, if anything, that saved me. A lot of people didn't really have anything to play with. But yeah, it was a really fun race overall, and didn't expect to start the season this way.
Yeah, I think we saw a few drivers actually struggle with ERS. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you went for a move on Suso nearly at the end of the race, and it nearly ended up in contact. Is that what happened? Or there was so much moves going on that I might have got you mixed up with one of the many soft runners I think who was trying moves at various points on the track.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I went up the inside into turn 3, I think it is. I didn't think it was too bad from my end anyway, but maybe on stream it looks different. But yeah, it didn't seem too bad from me.
Yeah, a fantastic performance for yourself. We imagine, we're not stewards, but we imagine you will get that penalty removed. So second place in this race could well be yours. And a bit like we said to Ash, the alternate strategy has worked for you, and it could well work out next week. Singapore is known for the alternate strategy. This must give yourself a bit of confidence that even if qualifying doesn't go the best way, you've definitely got the pace in the race.
Yeah, I mean, I tried it last year at Singapore. Pretty much perfect, started P12, and I was looking really good, but I got caught up in an incident on the final stint, so it sort of ruined it. So we'll see what the situation is, of course, but hopefully there's a bit of redemption there if we can pull it off properly. So it should be interesting.
Dan, do you have any questions?
Yeah, just speaking. First of all, hi gamer. Brilliant performance today.
Hello. Thank you.
So talking about Singapore, approaching qualifying, it is a pretty strong circuit for the alternate strategy. So are you going to be aiming for that outside the top 10 position, or do you think you'll want to have your chance at pole?
I mean, yeah, if you're not in the top sort of 5, probably 3, providing that it's obviously a completely dry session. I think, yeah, starting P11 probably is the favourable one. But, I mean, if you've got the pace and you can start right at the front, then for sure do it. And as you saw last season, it doesn't always work out for the ultimate strategy. So Yeah, but in terms of doing the honour strategy, it's very interesting in qualifying. Obviously, trying to judge getting to the back end of the top 10, well, out of the top 10. So that's always interesting. That's sort of an art in itself, as well as obviously pushing as hard as possible. So, yeah, look forward to it. It's a good track for me usually, so we'll see what happens.
It was a brilliant performance. I really enjoyed a lot of your overtakes today, and hopefully that momentum can continue. So well done today.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations, Gamer, on what was a fantastic and very entertaining performance as well, with different strategies. I think me and Dan are going to need to take a Lemsip or something to calm our throats down after that one.
Yeah, you do that. Wait till Singapore, it's going to be even, well, the absolute chaos there as well. So it should be something for you to look forward to.
That's the way we like it. Cheers, Gamer. Fantastic performance from yourself today. Fantastic performance from a lot of the drivers, Dan. So much action going on. Unfortunately, we couldn't get either Samuel Bean or Suso into the commentary box. But yeah, Samuel Bean as well. No one would have expected that performance. And it wasn't like he pulled off the alternate strategy. He had a good qualifying in third place. Got a good start to get ahead of Vasta Racer. Maybe a bit of fortune pulling off that overtake at the exact second the safety car came out. But managed to work his way through. Managed to keep those medium tyres in good condition and rewarded with the 16 points.
Yeah, you maybe could class it as a Pierre Gasly story of making the comeback, and he's been so strong in that regard. I mean, I know realistically, I didn't have any expectations for him winning this race, but when he put it on very high up the grid, I believe he was on the third position, I'd say, or at least on the front row. He's really put it in a really good place. So maybe he could be a bit of a dark horse in this championship, and well, winning it off firstly in Bahrain is going to be a very strong start for him.
Yeah, I think so. Do you want to make a... There's plenty of contenders. Who would be your driver of the day, maybe, from today?
Oh, God. My driver of the day. There's a lot of people that I would put it on. I'd like to say Gamer's one of them because of how he really did execute his strategy. I think Blizzard as well, because he was also very, very... well, he had a lot of tyre wear towards the end of the race. And Ashbest too. We're going so long on that hard tyre. Really the masterful strategy from him.
Yeah, definitely. I think those drivers on the alternate strategy, I was definitely thinking Gamer as well, Blizzard, Benjamin, Ash, just managing to make the slightly different strategies work. And if you do want to see something slightly different here at PSGL, make sure to check out tomorrow evening the Classic Championship. They're going to be replicating Michael Schumacher's 7th world title. Dry weather for the feature race. It's Spa, so who knows what could happen for the sprint race in the F2004. We'll be back next Monday with the Singapore Grand Prix, but before that, on Thursday and Sunday, you will have the bottom and middle tiers and some more top tier action at 7 p.m. before we take you through the action at 8 p.m. Thanks everyone so much for watching. Thank you to Dan for joining me in the commentary box. Carlsberg don't do starts to the season, but if they did, there'd probably be something like that. Thank you everyone for watching, and goodbye.